So following on from some of the earlier videos, we were trying to sketch this function here, and we've established that as x tends towards positive infinity, it's going to do, the graph will do something like this, and then really close to x equals 0, but to the right, let's say 0.0000 whatever 1 here, it's going to do something like this, and it's always going downhill. Okay, and then as x tends to negative infinity, it's heading towards 1 as well, but and then just to the left of 0, because dead on 0 it breaks down. Dead on 0, this whole thing here breaks down. So we select a point just to the left of it. Let's say minus 0.0000 whatever 1, and then put it into here, and then this thing here will be near 0. So we know it's going to be around here. And then we've also established that it's going downhill all the time. Okay, and then there's in the previous video we've discovered this point of inflection right here. Okay, so our point of inflection is right here. So we need to consider the concavity here. So in this region here, we've got to consider f double prime. So is it going to concave down or is it going to concave up? And then we've got to consider in this interval as well, because remember, this something weird happens at dead on x equals 0. So we need to split up right at x equals 0. So we've got to consider this interval here. We've got to consider this interval here, and then we've got to consider this interval here. Look at f double prime for this interval, for this interval, and for this interval. So hang on. Hang on. Yeah. So we need to consider the interval now. The intervals from here, here, and here. Okay. So f double prime in the previous video we've established it was this. So now let's consider in this interval now. Okay, in this interval. So x we are now considering x being less than minus 2. Okay, so now when x is less, so f double prime is given by this. We've done that in the previous video. Okay, now consider x being less than minus 2. Well, when x is less than minus 2, this thing here will be a negative. This thing here will be a positive. This thing here will be a positive. So overall, in this region here, f double prime will be negative, meaning it's going to concave down. So this thing here is negative. So it should concave down like this. It's concaving down. Okay, so in this region here, it should concave down. Okay, so now let's consider what happens in this region here. So hang on. So in that region between minus 1 and 0 here, well, between minus 2 and 0 here, remember f double prime is given by this. We worked this out in the previous video. In this region here, this bubble here will be positive. This bubble here will be positive, and then this here will always be positive. So so overall, this whole thing here will be positive. Okay, meaning that f double prime is positive in this region here. Okay, and then in the other region where x is greater than 0, well, when x is greater than 0, this will be positive. This here will be positive. This here will be positive, meaning the overall thing here will be positive in this region here. Okay, so overall, hang on. Overall here, f double prime is negative in this region here. F double prime is positive in this region, meaning it should concave up. So this here will concave down. Okay, this here will concave up. But meaning this is going to concave down, and then now it's going to concave up. Okay, so really your graph will look like this. It's going to concave down, and then it's going to concave up, and then this here, don't forget, up here is right up here. So so this is going to concave up. Okay, so it should be, because f double prime is greater than 0, so it should concave up. So it should concave up. So our graph will look something like this. Okay, just the important thing is there's a point of inflection right here. Okay, so overall our graph will look like this, and then like this. Okay.